I found myself thinking a lot about family culture. It's one of those phrases that gets used quite often. But I realised I'd never really stopped to ask myself what it actually meant to us. For a long time, I imagined family culture was something you intentionally created. Something built through family traditions, birthdays, holidays, or the kind of moments children look back on when they're adults. But the more I watch our own little family, the more I think it grows in a much quieter way than that. Not all at once, and not because we planned it, but through the ordinary moments we return to day after day. And perhaps that's actually the most beautiful part. Lately, I've been noticing these moments everywhere. Walking to the same playground we've visited dozens of times, watching little hands insist on helping, even when helping makes everything take a little bit longer. Stopping to pick flowers on the way home, listening to music together, watching Dad fixing something outside. None of these things would ever make a family photo album. They're so ordinary that it would be easy to think they don't really matter. But I have a feeling these are the moments quietly becoming the story of our family. Sometimes I wonder what my little boy will remember about these years. Will he remember a particular birthday? A holiday? Maybe a special outing? Maybe. But I wonder if he'll remember something much gentler than that. The feeling of climbing the same rope frame over and over again until it felt easy. The smell of fresh bread coming from the oven. The songs we always seem to sing. The way Saturdays felt. The comfort of familiar stories before bed. The feeling of being included in ordinary life. Because the older he gets, the more I realise children don't just remember events. They remember atmosphere. They remember how life felt to live inside. Whether home felt peaceful or rushed. Whether there was space for curiosity, whether they felt they belonged in the everyday work of family life. I think those things will stay with us much longer than we realise. One of the things I've been working on over the last few weeks has been creating my very first handmade winter playscape. It began as an idea that slowly grew while I sat needle felting tiny woodland details, shaping little burrows and imagining the stories that might unfold there. And as I worked on it, I realised it was never really about making a toy. It was about creating an invitation to slow down, to tell stories, to investigate, to return to the same little woodland world over and over again, allowing those stories to grow alongside a child instead of constantly replacing them with something new. In many ways, it reminded me of family rhythm itself. We return again and again, and with every return, something deepens. I actually finished the very first playscape this week, and seeing it complete felt surprisingly emotional. It's now available for another family to make their own stories with, and I love knowing that something created here in our little home might become part of another family's rhythm too. That feels really special. One thing I've always loved about children is how little they need in order to become completely absorbed. A climbing frame they've climbed 100 times. A patch of sand. A swing. Some flowers. A stick found on the path. They're not constantly searching for something new. They seem perfectly content to discover something different inside the same experience. I sometimes think we've forgotten how to do that as adults. We're always looking for the next activity, the next purchase, the next experience. Children gently remind us that repetition doesn't make life smaller, it makes it deeper. Over the last few weeks here on the channel, we've talked about seasonal rhythms, about repetition, and about the stories we return to. As I was editing this week's video, I realised they're all really talking about the same thing. They're all quietly shaping the culture of a family. Not because we're trying to create something impressive, but because we're paying attention to what matters. Family culture isn't something we build in a single weekend. It's built while we're making lunch together, while tiny hands help fold washing, while we're walking the same path again, while we're reading one more story before bed, while little feet follow us around the garden wanting to be part of whatever we're doing. Those tiny moments don't feel important while we're living them, but one day they become the memories that tell our children who they are and where they belong. One of the greatest gifts that rhythm has given me isn't a perfectly organised home. It isn't children who never struggle. And it certainly isn't a perfectly calm life. It's something much simpler. It's helped me stop believing that I have to constantly create extraordinary days. It's reminded me that ordinary life already holds enough beauty. That this Tuesday afternoon matters. That this walk matters. That baking together matters. That these little moments, which can feel so repetitive when you're in the middle of parenting young children, are quietly becoming the foundation of home. And somehow that takes away so much pressure for me. Because maybe creating a meaningful childhood isn't about doing more. Maybe it's just about noticing more. If you're in a season where your days feel repetitive, or perhaps you've been wondering if you're doing enough, I hope this encourages you. Because I think children need far less than we sometimes imagine. They don't need every day to be extraordinary. they simply need enough ordinary days filled with love, belonging, beauty, and time. And perhaps those are the moments they'll carry with them long after they've forgotten the details. Thank you so much for spending a little piece of your day here with me. If today's reflections resonated with you, you'll find links below to my seasonal rhythm guides along with the handmade winter playscape I shared today. Everything I create is really centered around the same hope, that families might find simple ways to slow down, tell stories together, and build the kind of quiet rhythms that become part of childhood. I'd love to know what ordinary moment you hope your own children will remember one day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week, friends.